Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Alan and today I'm going to try fishing at Monknash on the South Wales coast. It's a rock mark between Rich's Point and Ogmore, and you can't see it around the corner down the coastline a little bit is Nash Point. It's Wednesday the 1st of May. It's about 13 degrees C. I'm quite surprised by the amount of swell that's here. A lot of surfers in the water. Not quite sure where I'm going to go yet. I might just go along up towards Ogmore a little bit, where I know there's sand. There are some big rollers coming in. The camera probably doesn't do them justice. They're about 3-4 feet high in places, but we're going to give it a go. I parked up at the Monknash beach car park next to the farm. There's a honesty box there for paying, so it's £3. So you goodwill, you put your money in the box, and then I've come down the short section of road across some sort of stile, a slate stile, and then walked in total about 1.1 kilometers to the beach. And there's another slate stile, I don't know, about 3/4 of the way down, and you're descending all the way, so the walk back will be fun. Pretty lovely walk down a little valley, wooded valley with a stream. Put a couple of videos while I'm talking. Hopefully they're showing. And yeah, nice little walk. Probably be a bit of a killer walking back. And just one thing here, when you're on the beach, you just have to be mindful of the cliffs. They're probably 30-40 meters, and you can see there's a relatively fresh cliff fall there, so don't get too close. It's currently 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got a 6:30 low tide, so it's a sort of mark where fish out, fish in. It's not a big tide. It's about 9 meters on the Barry scale, 3.5 low, so we've got about 5.5 meters of fall. And up in the channel where I normally go, Bristol Channel, it may be 12 meters, so it's sorry, 10 meters. It's not a full neap tide, and it's nowhere near a sort of spring tide, so it's a middle-ish sort of tide. And I haven't fished here for 3 years. Last time I came was before I obviously had my channel, so I've never done a video here before. I thought I was going to have a good session. I caught one dogfish first cast, and then that was it. Anyway, well, I'll come back to you. Hopefully I'll be on the mark where I'm going to fish. Well, here I am fishing on the beach. I walked about 600-700 yards from where I did my intro, just past the not the far headland, the nearer headland to me. And I've walked, when I looked on Google Earth, Google Maps, you could see that there was sand obviously here. The rocks gave way quite quickly to sandy beach, so I'm on the beach. But now just chasing the tide out, even though it's not a big tide. Monknash is relatively flat beach actually, so I've probably moved at least 100 yards already in an hour and a half, and I'm heading out to sea. So baits today, I've got squid, frozen squid, bluey, anchovies and prawn. I've also got some frozen blacks, and basically just fishing pulley rigs and loop rigs. I might try a very small pulley with a size 1, smallish bait, see if I can just get it out a bit further. Obviously with the tide receding quite fast, I'm not really casting into much depth of water, I don't think, by the time the bait's been out there for 20 minutes or so. And as you can see, it's sort of calmed down a little bit now. We're still getting some rollers coming in, but they're not as big as they were when we first arrived at the mark. Haven't had any fish. Been fishing for a couple of hours. No bites as such. The bait's coming back completely untouched. What we do for a doggy. Pretty much got the beach to myself. I say we were 6 or 7 surfers when I came down, enjoying some big swells at high water, or just after high water. Had a few walkers go by, and there's a couple of swimmers 200 yards down the beach. Look like they're going to brave to go in, but other than that, nobody fishing. Probably guess why, because there's no fish here at the moment. Anyway, scenery is absolutely fantastic. Very much like my videos last year at Nash Point at Mar Cross, which is, I don't know, mile, 2 miles further down the coast. You've got these very, very large cliffs, horizontal bedded, with the occasional fault through them. And you can see, well, at the high tide line, there's half a forest there. A lot of wood, traffic cones, you name it, it's there. It's just a glorious day to be out. I'm trying not too much to spin around too much, because I had some feedback on the last video that I was making somebody dizzy because I was spinning around when I hold the camera. I don't like to be in one place at one time. I like to vary the background. So I'm fighting my inner spin. It would have been very easy today to have just gone out early and gone up the deeps or something like that, but I thought I'd come for another new venue just to see what it's like, or another new venue for the channel. I had a good idea what it was like from a previous visit. At least I had a Dogfish first cast on that trip. Didn't catch anything else, mind you. The sand element of the beach here at Monknash is pretty featureless. It's very slightly shelving, as I said earlier. It shelves a little bit more, obviously, as further as it goes out, as most beaches. So you don't have to chase your line as much, or your
the tide line as much near the bottom of the tide, but it's not like Nash Point. If you look at my videos from last year, where there's lots of like gullies and coral outcrops and stuff like that, nothing like that. Once you're on the sand element, it's pretty much so far all sand, and the only thing I've managed to find is this very shy hermit crab that was just, it can't be too well because he's washed up on the beach. He is alive, but no worm casts I can see, and pretty lifeless and featureless really. So yeah, been fishing for well 3 hours, and not a sausage. Baits have been coming back pretty much untouched. I've decided now to put quite a small pulley rig on with a size 1.0 and just a bit of black lug and squid, and just try to whack it out as hard as I can, just to see, which it still isn't very far. Here he is, look, he's decided to come out now. He's not camera shy after all. So yeah, just try to whack that out just to see if there's anything there, but at the moment, certainly on the loop rigs with the big baits, nothing. Not a sausage. Anyway, keep going. The plan, fish down to low, which is about 6:30 I think, as I said, and then probably fish at least 2.5 hours of the flood, probably fish up to about 9 o'clock and see, oh sorry, he just bit me, and see how we go. So rigs today really just, as I said earlier, pulley rigs. So here's one of my smaller baits, just a whole black lug basically back on itself, and then a little sliver of squid, and that's on a size 1.0 Varivas Aberdeen hook, and that's just on a 4-foot pulley. I did start with rotten bottoms because I wasn't quite sure what the rock situation was, but I've gone just a plain 170 gram Gemini leads on with an imp, no rotten bottoms because the sand is clean. So that's just that's the pulley rig I'm using, and then a slightly bigger bait on a pulley, again same 170 gram Gemini lead, but this time with a 4.0 circle hook and a prawn, frozen prawn with half a squid wrapped on it, and again that's on a 4-foot pulley, and that's on 60-pound amnesia. The other smaller worm bait was on 30-pound amnesia, and it's just started to rain. Oh dear. Oh well, crack on. I had QM Services phone me, who were repairing my Pen 525 Mag 4. 42 quid repair charge. Drive shaft broke, and some other gear had failed as well, so I'd no hope of retrieving. Anyway, good service. Posted it 2 weeks ago, the cheapest post I could thing. It was only a couple of quid to post it, so it wasn't first class. I didn't send it recorded because the reel's only worth about 120 quid. And he's received it, turned it round and sent it back today. So that's a week and a half. So, well, a week and a half since I sent it. He's probably only had it a couple of days. So we'll have the blue pen back. But today, obviously, using my pen casting specials. Got my pen casting specials. Got my Daiwa Tournament on the rod on the right, and my Daiwa Saltist, the plank, on the left. I've got a loop rig on here. Feels very, very heavy. Let's get down to the water's edge, I think. Whatever it was, just come off. Here's a loop, very good fishing. So got a hook above the weight. It's a 3/0 circle hook. And then we have a 170 gram Gemini lead. And then the trace below the weight with the cascade swivel in. It's got a 4/0 circle hook. And that bait's untouched. That bait looks a little bit mangled, but I couldn't feel anything fighting. I didn't see any bite or anything, so whether it was a crab or a bit of weed or what, bag or something, I don't know. But anyway, bit of excitement here at Monknash. We've got a prawn and squid bait on a 4/0 circle hook dongle rig on the pulley. Let's get that one out there. I found Monknash relatively safe for wading out. I tend to watch the wave received, or the water receive, and then I can walk out to the edge comfortable that I know what I'm walking onto. But there's no, as I said, no potholes or anything that I can see, except for the first 20-30 yards where I was fishing. There was quite a few boulders, so a few holes in the ground, so you just have to be careful there. But out here on the main sand, quite flat and uniform. I think I've spoken before about the Nash bank that runs down from Nash Point. I can see the marker buoy for the start of it down there. The farthest headland there is Nash Point, I think. And then it runs for 10 miles all the way up towards Porth Call over there in the distance. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to pick it up. You can actually see the waves breaking over the bank. Massive waves breaking over the banks. About a couple of miles offshore there. There's a big one there. Right in the far distance, if you look at the almost the base of the cliffs on the England side, you can see waves, and that's where the sea is breaking over the Nash Sands. There's a few islands there. I don't know, 2 islands there that have appeared, another one there. And I suppose at low water they would be very, very visible on a big tide. So we're what's it, 6:30, 20 past 6, low water. In total I think the sand's probably about 150, 175 yards. Come out, I haven't moved. I'm spinning around again. I haven't moved for the last at least hour and a half. So I've just been about 30-40 yards from the water's edge. So the tide's ferocity in terms of ebbing has dropped a bit, and the rain is carrying on. Other than that heavy weight that I was bringing in, no bites as such. I'm not sure that was a fish, it might have been a big lump of weed. I've had a couple of chunks of weed on the subsequent casts. And it's just so quiet, other than the pounding of the sea, it's just so quiet here. Absolutely glorious. If you well, pick your tide, you can walk from Monknash all the way down towards Southern Down. And you can, I think that's right. There's another bay round the corner there you can get to. Not Southern Down, something else. But anyway, you can walk round. You see a lot of walkers walk across one way. You don't see them come back, so they must be able to get up somewhere. But obviously, you've just got to pick your tide. And one thing here is, all I'd say is that when the water hits the base of the pebbles, you need to be around the corner if you're getting back to Monknash, because there's a little corner there with an elevated section of rock, and unless you want to get wet feet, you really need to be moving back towards where the river comes down there. Otherwise you'll get cut off on this corner here. After my embarrassment of going to camera and saying I got a fish on and winding in and it coming off, I was watching my rods there and I could see these, what I thought were bites, and then I was thinking, oh, is it coinciding with the waves breaking? And I thought, no, I don't want to embarrass myself again. I should have trusted my judgment. Look, there's me saying I need a doggy, and I've got a doggy. A little baby doggy, saves the blank. And actually he's got a, like the one down at the Mumbles, he's got a black spot, big black spot in his tail. He or she came to black lug and squid on a very small pulley, size 1 or 1.0 Aberdeen. There we go. And he came on a very small bait, which I try to whack out as hard as I can. So there we go. Much maligned doggy saves the day again. Does this count as my second species of the day? Baby sand eel. I didn't catch it, just came up by my foot. Absolutely hammering it down now, so I've got a plastic bag over the GoPro, if you're wondering what that thingy is. Here's another dogfish. Hour after low tide, so 2 dogfish almost in successive casts. I also lost another one on the other rod in the surf. Coming in, that was on a dongle rig. This was on a 2-hook loop rig with Aberdeen hooks, so on black lug and squid. Seems to be both the dogs have come to that bait today. Anyway, let's get this little fella back in the water. Well, I'm doing my outro 3 days later on the Saturday. It just got too bad to film at the end of the session there. Such the rain was so heavy and everything like that. And I packed in about half 8, so 2 hours after low tide. I ended up just with the 2 dogfish, and I think I lost another one in the surf, bringing them in. So 20 casts, 2 fish, 10% return. That's this week's statistic. It was an enjoyable session, all the same. I made the sort of, when I was putting the edit in the video together, and I noticed that I'd said walking down to the beach when I showed one of the videos, something along the lines that the walk back might be a bit of a killer, and my words unfortunately came back to haunt me, because I was walking up through a little river section on the path, and I had my trainers on, and to make it easier to walk than walking back to the car park in my chest waders, and I managed to slip on the muddy path, which was a bit of a mud fest. And I landed on my cool box, which has got no give in it. If you know these things, they do rock hard polycarbonate, whatever they are. And I landed on my ribs, and I thought, oh, that didn't feel too good. I didn't hear anything break, but I had to go to the minor injuries unit on Thursday morning, and I might have a fracture, a small fracture in my chest, rib cage, might not. But they just told me to take painkillers, and it could be 6 to 8 weeks before I recover. So I've had a couple of days laid up, and I managed to get back to the van all right. But just I think the adrenaline got me back and drove me home, and then overnight it was just increasing pain. So just something to watch out for on that path. It's pretty slippery, so sensible boots. Don't take anything for granted. I was worried about the rocks and the boulders and all that. And you think, oh, the path's going to be okay, and that's what at the end of the day I fell foul of. So thanks again for watching. Not quite sure when I'll be out again, but thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, liking and subscribing. Take care, be safe. Yeah, watch out for those slippery paths, and we'll see you all again soon. Take care now. Bye.